Hey guys, and welcome back to Hoosier Hardware, and today we're taking a look at this portable display from Lepow. Now, this is a 15.6 inch IPS display. It's 1080p, has USB-C input, HDMI input. It has USB-C power or a wall wart power brick with it. There's a lot of features that I want to go over with this particular display. A big thanks does go out to Lepow for providing the review unit. Right now, it retails for just under $200 as of the filming of this review, but please do check the link in the description down below for current availability and pricing, because that is obviously subject to change and could change the value proposition of really any product, including this one. But with all that said, let's go ahead and hop into the review. So obviously up for review today, we have the Lepow 15.6 inch 1080p portable display. So I love how we have Pac-Man there. Probably not actually Pac-Man, that's totally just like an E. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and open this guy up. Now, Lepow, if that's actually how you pronounce it, is definitely going for a bit of an Apple, almost like unboxing here, where we have the display, which I've already pulled out of the packaging, obviously, and tested it out quite a bit. And then below that we actually had some padding and that sort of thing. What I do want to notice here is that we have a 3.5-year warranty, provided that you go through this sort of activation process for your warranty. So provided they have good warranty support, which I have no way of testing, that's actually a really good length of a warranty. Now over here on the right side is where all the cables and everything else were stored for the unboxing, or rather in the box or in the packaging itself. What you actually get in the box is a power adapter. This is a USB type A to type C cable that does come included. Now mine's already plugged in on my pegboard and already mounted there. But this is a 5-volt 2-amp wall wart. Then we do have this mini HDMI to regular HDMI cable. The regular HDMI will go over to whatever source you want to be using, and then the mini HDMI will go straight into the actual portable display itself. But you don't necessarily need either of these things, whether we're talking about the wall wart, the USB-A to USB-C, or the HDMI cable, because if you're using some devices that have enough power going through their USB Type-C ports, you do have included a USB-C to C cable, and this is actually what I did the majority of my testing with my Razer Blade Stealth and the display itself. It was a one-cable solution where I could power everything using just the USB-C from the actual laptop itself. So that is an excellent inclusion for this portable display. I know some portable displays actually require that you have some sort of external power coming from the wall. This is a great solution. I love it. Now, as far as the fit and finish of the display goes, we sort of have this metallic blue color that gets carried across the entire display, including on the back. This is an all-metal housing, so you're not going to get much display flex as you sort of try to twist it. It will twist just a little bit. It seems to be fairly thin metal housing on top of the fact that it's just a thin display, so there is going to be a little bit of flex there, but as long as you have your folio case on it, you're not going to have to worry about the display itself getting damaged in your backpack unless you're really just throwing the backpack all over the place. It should be perfectly safe in a backpack setting on the go, so no worries there. Let's take a look at some of the I/O here. This would be on the left side of the display itself. We obviously have this speaker grill as well as the inputs. This is the USB-C input, which will also be used for power if you're using a compatible device like the Razer Blade Stealth. You also have the mini HDMI input as well as a 3.5mm audio jack. And this is an output, not an input jack. Flipping around to the right side then, you get another speaker grill. You get a USB Type-C. This is for power only though. You get the sort of toggle switch. This is for the on-screen menu. It does have a couple quick shortcuts. If you flip it up, that's going to control your brightness, and then from there you can toggle it back and forth to control brightness on screen. If you toggle it down, that'll be the volume for the volume shortcut rather. That'll just quickly bring you up to the monitor's volume, where you can then again toggle it up or down. And then if you want the full menu itself, you actually push in on the button while the screen is on, and that gives you the full actual on-screen display where you can actually start to tweak with all of your image settings, sharpness, contrast, all those things would be in that menu. But it is a nice inclusion to have those sort of shortcuts there in case you just want to quickly change the volume or the brightness. And that is absolutely the two things that you're going to mess with most on this monitor, so it's good to see that shortcut. And then you do have a basic power button with an indicator LED light there as well. It'll be red when it's just off, and then I believe it turns white when it is actually on and displaying an image. Now, the folio case that is included does give you a few different options for standing up your monitor. Basically, you can attach the monitor at the top here and use these two different ridges as different inclination settings, or you could even flip it around and use this one, which if you notice here is sort of in the middle. So this ridge would be kind of that middle setting, or you can flip it around and use either of these two settings. So the way this is used is you fold this kind of back, you attach the monitor at the top there, and you put it into whichever notch you are wanting to use most, and you're set up and ready to go. Now, the reason that I actually love this monitor so much is the setup when you're using the single cable solution is just so easy. You basically just plop down whatever device you're going to be using with the monitor. You grab your one cable, Type C to Type C, plug in the Type C cable to your source as well as to the monitor itself, and you basically let Windows or whatever the operating system you're using do the rest, and boom, you have a second display ready to go. This is an excellent solution if you're having like a meeting with somebody at a coffee shop or somewhere where portability is key. Maybe you're meeting in a conference room and you need to share your screen with the entire table. You can turn that second display around to face the other side of the table. It just gives you so much versatility with having that second display there and the one cable solution. It is fantastic. Now, it's likely gonna be impossible to tell here, but there is just a little bit of ghosting on this monitor. This is not a monitor that I would even describe as a really good gaming monitor for a variety of reasons, including the general ghosting that we do see here, but also the color space isn't all that accurate, and that's pretty easy to tell when you put it side by side with a somewhat accurate monitor. The brightness isn't great on this display either. There are a lot of drawbacks, a lot of compromises that you do make to get to the point of having this monitor being so light and so easy to carry around. Now, do bear in mind, because I use this single cable solution, if you're doing it this way with a laptop or other device, because the device itself is also powering the monitor, you are going to see reduced battery life, in some cases quite significantly, because this is a larger display than most laptops have, or at least on par with many laptops depending on your laptop size. But also, if you're cranking up the brightness, which I actually do recommend doing, because frankly the display is pretty dim unless you start to crank it up, and even at 100% brightness it's still fairly dim. It is going to drain the battery, and you are going to definitely notice that as you go through your workflow. But if you're going to plug in your laptop as well, you now have basically a two cable solution for two displays, including the computer itself, which still isn't a bad situation. But if you're going to be using this in the middle of a conference room for a presentation or something like that, and you don't have a wall outlet nearby, then you are going to want to make sure that your laptop or whatever device you're using is fully charged for this display. Now, gaming on this monitor is absolutely possible, and in fact, if you're coming from a console situation where you're playing on a TV, especially if you're playing on a TV that's on the more budget side of things, you're probably not gonna have a bad time gaming on a display like this. The problem is, if you're coming from a higher end display, maybe you have a desktop PC like a lot of my audience probably does, it's not the greatest experience, but if it's all you have, then fine. The thing about that, though, is a gaming laptop is going to have a better screen for gaming, and frankly, if you're playing on something like a Switch, you might as well just play it in handheld mode. So although it's marketed with gaming in mind, I don't really think that's the best case scenario or best use of this display. You can do it in a pinch, but I don't think I would really recommend it. Instead, I think the better use for a screen like this is just productivity, and I think that's the way this screen should absolutely be marketed and looked at. It doesn't have great color accuracy, it doesn't get overly bright, but it does give you a very easy way to carry with you in a backpack a nice 1080p screen that's going to be very helpful if you're doing presentations of some sort, or you just need the extra screen real estate. Maybe you're on the go or working at a coffee shop. It's absolutely a great way to give yourself an extra screen for productivity tasks where color accuracy, the refresh rate of the display itself, all those things aren't really going to matter in that type of setting. And that's the way I think Lepow needs to work around this monitor, is marketing it that way. If that's the type of thing you're looking for, I absolutely recommend this display because it does a great job of that. I've actually had a really nice time with it, and it is getting a permanent place on my pegboard as a sort of secondary test bench setup where I can very quickly plug in a tower to it and use it to get things like Windows installed or just to do maybe temperature testing and that sort of thing. So I am absolutely going to be continuing to use this, and I sort of have my pegboard set up in a way that it's very easy to put onto the pegboard and then pull back down very quickly with no problems there whatsoever. So yeah, if you're looking for an extra productivity monitor, this thing is awesome, and I would definitely recommend it. If you're looking for a gaming display, this probably isn't for you, and you should probably look elsewhere for one. So that's basically it for this particular portable display. I love it. It's going up on my pegboard. It gives me basically a second sort of test bench area here, and it does give me a lot of versatility because if I ever need to take it with me, all I have to do is pull it down from the pegboard and off I go with the folio case. It's a really cool device. Portable displays are cool in general, and I have quite enjoyed my time with this one. But if you have one of these types of displays, let me know your experiences in those comments down below. That may be helpful for anybody that's looking for a display like this. And otherwise, if you like the video, give it a like, share, subscribe, and comment. All those things are very helpful for the channel. You can follow me both on Instagram and on Twitter at Hoosier Hardware. And as always, I'll let YouTube queue up a couple more videos from my channel for you to watch. I'm Shane with Hoosier Hardware, and I'll see you guys in the next video.